old. I was able to, during that, 30, 45, 90-second break, was able to bring on my good friend and label mate from Life Improvement Radio and host of the Social Media Business Hour, Mr. Niall Nichols, calling in live from CES, Computer Electronics Show, out in Vegas. So now, welcome to the show, and thanks so much for taking the time out.
Ted, it's always great to be with you, and I think I need a break from the tech overload. I mean, I'm in the tech world here.
I know you're in the tech world, and I got to tell you, I'm so envious of you, Neil, right now. Excuse me, Niall. I'm so envious of you, Niall, right now. And I really wanted to, last week's pod, I talked about how my wife was so gracious for allowing me to get a 4K TV. I got a 4K TV, so excited about it, took it out the box, put it together, put the stand together, and I said, okay, where's that beautiful 4K that I'm hearing about, and that picture? And I'm looking and I'm seeing stuff that's still in 2K. And that's kind of where the podcast ended.
Well, you are not alone, my friend. You are not alone. As a matter of fact, you probably know that that 4K is the old TV now. The newer TVs are 8K. However, the 4K problem that you just discussed is still an accurate problem. You get a 4K, and there's not a lot of content available. Obviously, you could get the Blu-ray disc and all of that, and you could enjoy the higher resolution. But if you want to try to stream any 4K, it's not there.
It's now. I got to tell you this much. I watched House of Cards, which I was able to stream it in 4K from the Netflix that comes equipped with a built-in app on the smart TV, but okay, you can only watch 3 seasons of House of Cards and then watch. I'm thinking about the NFL, the NBA. I'm thinking of the latest and greatest. I'm turning to all these high definition channels, and I'm not getting that 4K, and I'm very upset. And you're telling me I just bought an outdated 4K TV. 4K is outdated. Now there's 8K.
Now there's 8K, and in fact, 8K has been out for about 2.5, 3 years now. It hasn't hit the mainstream market for the same problems that we're talking about. And, I could put the problem in perspective for you very quickly. And that is, right now we're getting all sorts of appliances, all sorts of applications, all sorts of everything that's connecting to the Internet. And that means that we need more bandwidth.
Right.
So even with the high definition channels, they're taking up more bandwidth because you still have high definition and you've got standard definition. So the cable companies are actually petitioning FCC right now to say, listen, do we still have to broadcast standard definition?
Really?
Broadcast. Because they need that bandwidth to be able to broadcast the 4K shows. So that has been the holdup right now. We don't have enough bandwidth. And that has absolutely positively stopped the rollout into the marketplace of the 8K televisions. If we look at the NFL, for example, the NFL absolutely, positively wants to be there. They're not alone. But right now, they just can't deliver it to the set top.
Right. So tell me this much: as if neither you or I are not in the IT business, okay? Let's just say we're just the average Joe that go to what's that? The Geek Squad. Whenever we need something fixed, all right. What you're telling me is, if I have, how much bandwidth do I actually need for 2K, for 4K, or for 8K? I mean, if I just have, let's just say a low end 15 megabytes up and 5 down, am I in trouble?
Well, you are. You're almost talking about some different levels of connectivity. The with the overhead and everything else, 4K needs about a 12 meg bandwidth. Now, you're saying you've got 15. The only problem is there's overhead on that. You don't have a true 15. So, if you had 75, 150, you could stream it. However, the cable companies want to deliver that content to you. That's where most of the current programming wants to deliver it to you. And they're sort of like the airwaves. They're limited by the bandwidth that they could deliver because they're not delivering one station at a time. They're delivering hundreds. And so all of a sudden, if you take everything from about a 4 meg signal to a 12 meg to a 32 meg, all of a sudden it starts to eat up a lot of bandwidth.
Okay. Gotcha. So I got a feeling you're going to tell me, I'm going to ask you to come back on the show in 3 weeks. You're going to tell me, well, Ted, the new standard is VR, virtual reality. I kind of feel like that's the route we're going. So I know you're at CES. I know your time is short. Tell us some of the hottest tech gadgets. What's new? What's hot out there that's really caught your eye?
Well, there's three things. The virtual reality you mentioned, I think 2016 is going to be the year of virtual reality. I think it's where it's going to get some sort of mainstream adoption, and we're going to start to see much more that's available for that immersive technology. Personal robots, I think we're going to start to see them enter the marketplace in 2016. We funded via a Kickstarter campaign a few years ago a Jibo robot, which is your personal assistant, if you will. But Intel here at CES has announced a new partnership with Segway, and they have a personal robot that has video, audio, Bluetooth connectivity, and all of that, to do things like answer your door. If you've got a security system and something gets tripped, you don't have to go check out what it is. It goes and checks it out for you. If you've got an impaired parent at home that needs some assistance, maybe you're not home all the time, then it will follow your parent around, and if they have an issue, a problem, it could detect that problem, anything from a fall to a medical emergency, and it could not only contact you and stream audio, video from the robot directly to you, but it could also contact emergency services and all that. So I think you're going to see a lot of neat things there. And the drone technology just continues to improve by leaps and bounds, and prices continue to drop substantially. So I think that you're going to see a lot more in the drone environment this year, and I think those are probably going to be the three big trends we see. Now, you could talk about the wearable technology and the personal health and fitness products. Those really entered the marketplace in a strong way last year. This year, they are just exploding, and I think you're really going to see a much higher rate of adoption on those as well.
Gotcha. Now, I want to thank you for just stopping by live at CES to talk with us on Late Night Parents tonight about the latest and greatest. I mean, that was some great information on 4K, on the 4K TVs, and we gotta definitely have you come back because we're definitely gonna have an in-depth conversation about bandwidth and how important it is and what it's going to mean to you today versus 6 to 12 to 18 months from now. Because as cable subscribers are dwindling at an basically uncontrollable rate, bandwidth subscribers are increasing. So what's 75 megabytes today is soon to be 150, and we got to talk about Google Fiber and Comcast and people wanting to deliver that gigabit connection to your home. Definitely, you're going to have to come back in a couple of weeks. We got to sit and chat about that.
Well, and I'll be happy to, Ted. It's always a pleasure, and you're high on my calendar, so anytime you ask, I jump, and I try to make sure that I could support your request. But one of the things that I'll leave you with is earlier this year, IBM announced that they had a 400 gigabit technology that they could roll out over existing copper lines. Now that
Wow.
is a whole new wonderful thing,
It's a game changer.
and they've demonstrated it, and I think that you're going to start to see that enter the marketplace probably in the next 2 or 3 years. That is a game changer.
Wow, that's a game changer. Now, tell us the best ways to get in contact with you. I know I listen to you on a social media business hour, but let the folks know via social media ways to get in contact with you.
Well, they could get me at Niall Nickel on Twitter. They could get me through the Social Media Business Hour on Facebook, or, of course, they could get the Social Media Business Hour at socialmediabusinesshour.com. They could get me all over the place, and I'm always happy to talk to them.
Definitely. Want to thank you once again, label mate from Life Improvement Radio, Mr. Niall Nickel. Niall, thanks so much.
Have an outstanding evening.
You too.